Hey yo, what's good, people? It's your boy reporting live from the 90s. And if you grew up in the 90s, you remember when gadgets weren't just things you used, they were also a whole personality. We're talking about toys and tech that didn't just pass the time, they defined it. And back then, every kid was basically walking around with a portable chunk of the future in their pockets, backpack and Velcro wallet. This was before iPhones, before streaming, before social media even had a seat at the table. These gadgets didn't need Wi-Fi, they had hype, they had magic, and they had a way of burning their image into your memory forever. Today, we're taking it all the way back to the golden era of kids' tech, from the virtual pets that made you panic like a real parent, to the voice gadgets that let you prank your way through the whole school day, to the gaming handheld that made you king of the back seat. So dust off your fanny pack, grab a Capri Sun, and let's talk about the gadgets that ruled the 90s playground.
Attention Toys R Us shoppers, just arrived and located at the end of aisle 6A is the virtual pet Tamagotchi.
Move over, Beanie Babies. There's a new toy in town called Tamagotchis.
I thought it'd be fun for my son, but then I decided to keep it for myself.
The 90s had plenty of big toy moments, but Tamagotchi was a full-blown cultural earthquake. Dropped in Japan in late 1996 and hitting US shelves in 97, this little egg-shaped keychain wasn't just a toy, it was your digital child. You weren't just buying a gadget, you were signing up for a 24/7 parent duty experience. Except your baby was a pixelated alien blob living in a 2-inch LCD screen. Bandai, the same company behind Power Rangers, had no idea how deep they were about to get into our brains, or maybe they did. Kids everywhere suddenly had a reason to set alarms, skip lunch, and beg teachers to please let me feed my Tamagotchi before it dies. And these things would die, fast. Forget to clean up its poop, game over. Leave it hungry for too long, rest in pixels. That little angel tombstone animation hit harder than any Saturday morning cartoon villain. It wasn't just the joy of the toy, it was the status. Rolling up in school with a Tamagotchi clipped to your belt loop instantly boosted your playground credibility. And if you had more than one, you were basically a digital foster parent running a whole underground daycare center. Some kids had theirs decked out in stickers, others kept them pristine like collector's items. Parents hated them because they were addictive. Teachers hated them because they beeped in the middle of class. But we loved them because for the first time, we were holding a piece of the future in our hands, a gadget that felt alive. Now, before kids were typing their secrets into note apps and locking them with a passcode, there was Dear Diary, the electronic vault for your middle school thoughts, crush lists, and occasional deep life advice you thought was profound at age 11. Released by Tiger Electronics in the mid-90s, Dear Diary looked like a little mini laptop made just for you. Flip it open, and you had a small monochrome screen, a mini keyboard, and enough storage to hold, well...
My Dear Diary stores tons of really private stuff.
It's locked.
Only my secret code unlocks it.
Not much by today's standards, but it felt like infinite memory back then. This wasn't just a toy, it was your private world, a place where you could log your day, keep phone numbers, and write notes without worrying about your little brother snooping. The magic of Dear Diary was that it made little ladies feel grown. Paper diaries felt childish, but an electronic diary, that was futuristic. It was basically training you to become an organized, tech-savvy adult that you swore you were destined to become anyway, even if half your entries were, OMG, Brian talked to me in math class. Goodness gracious.
Escape to a world of color for each and every Game Boy game. New Game Boy Color.
By the late 90s, handheld gaming had already been around for a while, but the Game Boy Color felt like Nintendo just took the training wheels off. Dropping in 1998, it was like your old Game Boy hit puberty, got a fresh wardrobe, and finally discovered what color TV was all about. This thing came in loud, unapologetic colors, great purple, teal, lime green, and that clear atomic purple that made you feel like you were looking into the future. And for the first time, portable gaming wasn't just shades of pea green soup. The pixels had flavor. It wasn't just looks either. The Game Boy Color could run every original Game Boy game plus new titles built to flex its color display. And for kids in the 90s, that meant that you could take your old classics and dive into new heat like Pokemon Gold and Silver, The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Ages, and Wario Legend 3. Owning one was a lifestyle. You'd be in the backseat of a minivan on a long drive, batteries dying faster than your patience, trying to squeeze in one more level before mom made you put it away. Trading games at school became its own underground economy. If you had a link cable, you were about to be a walking multiplayer hub. And unlike the flasher toys that faded out after a season, the Game Boy Color was built to last. It was one of those gadgets you kept using even when new consoles dropped because it was portable, durable, and had a library that slapped way harder than it had any right to.
When you get the game, you've got the power. With Tiger's new Mighty Morphin Power Rangers handheld game, you can pulverize the Putty Patrol.
Yes! Now they're Mudman.
When you've got the power, you can pound that pig.
If the Game Boy Color was the cool, well-off kid in class, Tiger handheld games were the scrappy cousin who showed up to every family cookout with a bag of dollar store fireworks. These weren't sleek, they weren't deep, but in the 90s, they were everywhere.
Electronic Sonic! It's Tiger's new Sonic the Hedgehog handheld game. Sonic fun for kids on the run.
Tiger Electronics cranked these things out like they were printing money. Everyone was a single game, built into a cheap plastic shell with a low-res LCD screen that made every character look like a shadow puppet. But the magic was in the licenses. You could play your favorite movie, TV show, or cartoon in video game form, even if it barely resembled the real thing. We're talking Power Rangers, Sonic the Hedgehog, Street Fighter II, Space Jam, Aladdin, all stripped down into a series of flickering black shapes, jumping between 2 or 3 background positions, and yet we ate it up. They ran on AA batteries, had simple sound effects that could drive your parents insane, and could fit in your backpack without taking up space. You couldn't save your progress. There were no levels beyond make the score go higher, but they had one thing every kid in the 90s respected: instant gratification. You could turn it on and you were playing in seconds. Tiger handhelds weren't built to be the future of gaming. They were the gas station snack of the video game world. Cheap, quick, and perfect for killing time in the car, at recess, or hiding under your desk when the teacher wasn't looking.
Hi kids, we're home early.
Tiger's new Talkboy tape recorder comes with audio cassette.
If you were a kid in the 90s, the Deluxe Talkboy wasn't just a gadget, it was the ultimate prop for mischief. Born straight out of movie magic, this thing went from being a fake product in Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, to a real-life, must-have toy faster than Kevin McAllister could booby trap a staircase. In the movie, Kevin used it to record his voice, slow it down, and trick grown-ups into thinking he was an adult. In real life, we used it too. Well, pretty much the same thing, minus the credit card fraud. The Deluxe Talkboy looked like a futuristic cassette recorder with a flip-out mic, and it let you record, playback, speed up, and slow down audio. The possibilities were endless. Prank calls, goofy voices, fake announcements over the school PA, don't ask, and recording your friends saying embarrassing stuff so you could replay it until they begged you to stop. There was also the Talk Girl, same gadget, just in pink, because 90s toy marketing had to gender everything, smart business. But no matter the color, having one in your hands instantly made you feel like you had a secret agent toolkit. And the commercials, legendary. They made it look like you could run your whole life through a Talkboy, spying, scheming, and making adults look like fools. The truth was, half the time you were just recording yourself saying butts in slow motion. But that didn't matter, you were living the dream.
Yak Bak gives you the last word.
Yak Bak. Yak Bak.
If the Talkboy was the big budget Hollywood gadget, the Yak Bak was the wild youngin' that lived for chaos. Released by Yes Entertainment in the mid-90s, it was this tiny, bright colored device that did one thing: record a few seconds of audio and played it back. But that was all it needed to be a playground menace. You'd hit record, say something ridiculous or incriminating, then hit play and watch chaos unfold. You could distort your voice, repeat things at the worst possible moment, or loop the same insult until your friends were ready to swing on you. And because it was pocket-sized, you could be sneaky. The Yak Bak was the original always recording device long before smartphones made it normal. There were different models too. Some let you warp the playback sound, others added echo or robot effects, and a few even had multiple sound slots so you could store your greatest hits. And if you had that Yak Bak 2 or Yak backwards, you could record stuff and play it in reverse, which instantly made anything sound creepy and hilarious at the same time. The beauty of the Yak Bak was how accessible it was. The Talkboy felt like a special ops device you pulled out for big moments. The Yak Bak, that was everyday mischief. You could use it to mess with your siblings, annoy your teacher, or record your dumb rap verses and play them back like you just dropped the hottest mixtape on the block. And it's a wrap. This is just half the arsenal we were rocking in the 90s. We had our virtual pets, our pocket tech, our prank gadgets, but the playgrounds was just about to get even more wild. In part 2, we're diving into the gear that turned recess into a battleground, lunch tables into Vegas, and every step you took into a full-on fashion show. So hit that subscribe button, grab your Fruitopia, and meet me back here for the rest of the gadgets that made the 90s the greatest time to be a kid. Trust me, we're just getting warmed up.